Forget politicians and CEOs. Canada's true power lies with dynasties quietly shaping the nation's wealth and influence for generations. From breweries to frozen fries, retail giants to media empires, these dynasties have shaped Canada's economy, politics, and culture, revealing the 10 billionaire families that truly run Canada.
It was Canada's first microbrewery, and it started before anyone started a beer company in all of North America.
Molson family.
We started in Montreal in the community with a small microbeer, and now we're supplying our beers all over the world.
And here's where the story takes an even more fascinating turn. The wealthiest family you probably recognize from beer cans actually helped shape half of Canada. It all began in 1786, when John Molson opened a modest brewery in Montreal. But this wasn't just about brewing. Molson quickly branched into shipping, poured money into building one of Canada's first hospitals, and even financed the nation's very first railway. Think about that. A beer empire laying down railway tracks before Canada had a solid economy. What's remarkable is how the Molsons didn't stop there. They spread their influence into banking, real estate, and even sports. If you've ever shouted for the Montreal Canadiens on the ice, that's Molson money behind the team. And despite their vast wealth, the family gives back generously through the Molson Foundation, funding education, healthcare, and community projects nationwide. So every sip of Molson Coors carries the legacy of a dynasty that literally built Canada. Irving family. But hold on. If you thought billionaire dynasties only played on the national stage, the Irvings practically turned Atlantic Canada into their private kingdom. It all began with K.C. Irving, born in 1899, a man who mastered the art of vertical integration. He didn't just make one product, he controlled the entire chain. Lumber, oil, shipping, you name it. If you lived in New Brunswick, chances are the gas you pumped, the paper you read, or the wood you bought traced back to the Irvings. When K.C. passed away, his empire was divided among his sons. Arthur took the reins of Irving Oil, which now runs Canada's largest refinery, and over 900 gas stations. James expanded J.D. Irving Limited, dominating forestry, shipbuilding, paper, and transport. Another branch even controlled much of the region's media, influencing public opinion for decades. And here's the jaw-dropper. They're not just Atlantic Canada's biggest employers, but also its largest landowners. That level of power has sparked criticism over politics and the environment. Still, the Irving fortune funds schools, hospitals, and community projects. Love them or loathe them, the Irvings truly own the East Coast. Bronfman family. And here the narrative turns sharply from whiskey to Hollywood, legally manufacturing and exporting liquor from Canada while Americans went dry. Samuel Bronfman made his riches during U.S. Prohibition. His company, Seagram, rose to become the largest distiller worldwide, rather than just surviving. Consider Crown Royal, Chivas Regal, and other classic brands that came to represent high-quality spirits. The real shock arrived decades later, though. Edgar Bronfman Jr., grandson of Samuel, took a daring step in the 1990s. Diving headfirst into Hollywood, he sold off the family's liquor empire and purchased MCA and Universal to turn the Bronfmans into power players in the entertainment business. The wager backfired terribly. Billions of dollars disappeared, and the once-strong Seagram inheritance unraveled. The dyad did not, however, collapse. Backed by wise investments in real estate, technology, and banking, the Bronfmans continue to be very wealthy. Furthermore, they have never stopped supporting charities, institutions, hospitals, and worldwide Jewish causes. If they understand how to turn and play the long game, dynasties can withstand great challenges. The Bronfman saga offers evidence of this. Saputo family. But wait, because the Saputo tale is about to surprise you even more. $500 and a bike. Believe it or not, it all began here. Lino Saputo Sr. came to Montreal as an Italian immigrant in 1954. He carried nothing but his father's ancient cheese recipe and an uncontrollable drive, spoke no English, and had no contacts. Riding his bike door to door with blocks of mozzarella, he methodically cultivated loyalty and confidence among a small but devoted customer base. Sounds easy, right? Still, That little cheese shop would grow into one of the biggest dairy producers in the world. The actual turning point was when Saputos started acquiring other companies: Armstrong Cheese, Dairyland, and more. Overnight, their reach grew beyond Montreal to millions more across the world. Today, Saputo proudly ranks among the 10 largest dairy companies worldwide. And their footprint on Montreal? Undeniable. Their contributions support schools, hospitals, and sports events. Saputo Stadium bears their name. From a bike and $500 to a multi-billion-dollar empire, the Saputos demonstrate how immigrant toughness can transform Canadian business. Desmarais Family.
I think there's two things about Asia that I think are very important. Number one is that Canada's position as a G8 country has, in my view, really been there for historical reasons and not necessarily because of our economic importance.
Now let's shift to real power, the kind that blends money with political influence. Paul Desmarais Sr. took a failing family bus company and by 1968 transformed it into Power Corporation. From there, he built a financial powerhouse, controlling Great-West Life and IGM Financial, and even investing in Wealthsimple. But what truly sets the Desmarais dynasty apart is politics. Paul Sr. wasn't just a businessman. He was an advisor to prime ministers like Pierre Trudeau, Brian Mulroney, and Paul Martin. His son even married the daughter of Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, binding the family to Canada's political elite. Today, the third generation carries the torch, managing both wealth and influence. With philanthropy funding arts and education, the Desmarais legacy proves dynasties can rule not just markets, but politics, too. McCain family. The McCain brothers are the reason frozen French fries became so popular globally. This section literally blew my mind. Harrison and Wallace McCain started their company in the sleepy small community of Florenceville, New Brunswick, which hardly anybody outside of the province had heard of, back in 1957. Their audacious notion: freeze little potatoes and then create fries, tasting just as delicious as fresh ones. It seemed ridiculous back then, but once people tried them, there was no turning back. McCain fries were gaining national and beyond recognition within 10 years, becoming not only a Canadian sensation. Today, McCain, with its fries available in over 160 nations, rules the market and is the uncontested king of frozen potatoes. It was not always simple sailing either. A severe family dispute almost destroyed the firm in the 1990s. Still, the McCains were able to prevent the disturbance from toppling their domain. Still among the biggest employers in rural Canada, they contribute millions of dollars to community initiatives. From humble roots to world domination, McCain converted potatoes into power. Richardson family. And here is where the narrative really gets fascinating. Not every dynasty yearned for the limelight. The Richardsons slowly created one of Canada's most lasting empires. It all got underway in Kingston, Ontario, in 1857, when James Richardson started dealing grain. That one choice helped create the basis for the Canadian grain sector, rather than just launch a family enterprise. From there, they helped to form the Winnipeg Grain Exchange, which developed into the pulsating core of worldwide wheat trade. Unlike the beer or cheese dynasties, though, the Richardsons never went after headlines. Though they carefully branched into real estate, oil and gas, and banking, agriculture remained their foundation. Their riches had grown into a fortress of individual strength by the sixth generation. I am intrigued by how stealthily they have accomplished it. Disciplined expansion devoid of scandals or showmanship. Their presence is, nevertheless, indisputable in Winnipeg. Their generosity helps hospitals, arts, and healthcare facilities all around the city. A dynasty founded on wheat quietly fed millions while leaving a cultural legacy as durable as any high-profile empire. Morgan family. Picture this: Montreal, 1845. A man named Henry Morgan opened something Canadians had never experienced before: the country's very first department store. It wasn't just an event. For the first time, people could step into one building and browse fashion, jewelry, and furniture, all under one roof. The Morgans had created pure magic, and for decades, they reigned supreme over Canadian retail. When suburban malls began spreading across the country in the 20th century, the Morgans didn't fade away. They adapted, and their stores became city landmarks. But in 1960, everything shifted when the family sold the chain to Hudson's Bay. Many thought that was the end of the Morgan legacy. Instead, the dynasty reinvented itself. They turned their focus to real estate, trusts, and philanthropy. While they gave up retail dominance, their name endured through charity, like McGill's Arboretum. The Morgans proved that true dynasties don't need headlines to leave a permanent mark. Thomson family. And last, the apex, the Thomsons, Canada's richest and most secretive family. It all started in 1931 when Roy Thomson acquired a modest radio station in North Bay. He established a media behemoth from there, entered UK newspapers, and even got the title of Baron Thomson. Sealing the 2008 Reuters acquisition that made Thomson Reuters, his son Kenneth turned attention away from print toward financial information. Today, through Woodbridge Company, they own the Globe and Mail and part of Bell, while David Thomson discreetly carries on their legacy through philanthropy and top-notch art gifts. These families molded the past, present, and future of Canada, from breweries to banking institutions. Their riches shaped society, their power guided policy, and they created businesses. If you find this trip into Canada's hidden power interesting, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more stories exposing the unseen.